Students, today we are going to proceed with chapter 8, how do organisms reproduce, class 10th. So in last class we studied about asexual reproduction, in which only one parent is involved, one organism give rise to other organisms. In today's class we are going to study sexual reproduction, in which two individuals, one male and female, two parents are involved in reproducing offspring. Okay, so you know the difference between a sexual and sexual reproduction. So let's study the sexual reproduction in detail. So where does sexual reproduction begins? You know that in our body there are multiple number of cells, infinite number of cells, and in each cell there is nucleus. And you also know that in each nucleus there are chromosomes. So in each cell of our body 46 chromosomes are present and 23 pairs of chromosomes are present, right? 23 pairs means 23 into 2, 46 chromosomes in each cell. You are very well familiar with this. So all sexually reproducing organisms, animals, humans, plants, have 46 chromosomes in each cell. Okay, so this reproduction process begins from chromosomes. So you should know more about chromosomes. You should know that there are two types of chromosomes. One is diploid chromosomes and another is haploid chromosomes. Do you know what is the difference between these types of chromosomes? See, generally chromosomes are diploid in nature. Di means two. It means they are in pairs. So जो chromosomes pairs में होते हैं उनको हम diploid chromosomes कहते हैं. The chromosomes which are single set of chromosomes like this, they are single, those are haploid. So haploid means unpaired, single, and diploid means in pairs. So humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes, as you know. So we can say that animals have diploid set of chromosomes. All sexually reproducing individuals, animals, species have diploid means 2n type of chromosomes, while asexually reproducing species have n type of chromosomes, which means haploid set of chromosomes. So now you understand the diploid and haploid set of chromosomes, right? Like this. So you will be surprised to note that humans also have haploid set of chromosomes, because there are two kinds of cells in human body. One is somatic cell and another is reproductive cell. Reproductive cells produce gametes. Okay, so reproductive cells are known as gametes. So in humans, two kinds of cells, one is somatic and another is reproductive cells or gametes. So what is the difference between somatic cells and gametes? The basic difference is about the haploid and diploid. Somatic cells are diploid, means paired, and gametes, reproductive cells, are haploid, right? And you have studied in chapter 9, control and coordination, that gamete cells. What are gamete cells? In males, gamete cells are known as sperms, and in females, gamete cells are known as eggs. And you know, sperms are produced by testes and eggs are produced by ovaries in females, right? You have studied about this. So sperms and eggs are reproductive cells and they have haploid set of chromosomes, means single chromosomes. So all cells of the body except reproductive cells have 23 pairs of chromosomes, means 46 chromosomes. But reproductive cells, gametes, have not paired but only 23 chromosomes single. Do you understand the difference? Okay. So both sperms and eggs have haploid set of chromosomes. So now you can understand that when male gametes and female gametes fuse together, then a cell is produced, a reproducing cell is produced with 46 chromosomes. That's why it is necessary to convert diploid cell, diploid chromosomes to haploid chromosomes. It means that it is necessary for the production of reproductive cells. Is reproduction possible by somatic cells? For example, if there are 46 chromosomes in somatic cells of males and 46 in females, and there are no reproductive cells, then is it possible to make a new cell with 46 chromosomes? No, because 46 plus 46 makes 92, not 46. That's why it is necessary to make haploid set of chromosomes. It is necessary to make reproductive cells which are haploid in nature and which contain single set of chromosomes to make a new reproducing cell. So this formation of gametes which are haploid in nature is known as meiosis. Okay, so meiosis is the process of formation of gametes by unpairing of chromosomes by formation of haploid chromosomes. Okay, so now you have understood that how haploid cells are formed from diploid cells, and first the somatic cells, the diploid chromosomes, change to haploid chromosomes and they fertilize together to form a reproducing cell which has 2n number of chromosomes. After production of this reproductive cell, this cell divides to form zygote. This zygote further develops into embryo and embryo develops into child. So gametes fuse together to form reproducing cell which makes which divides to form zygote and which further divides to form embryo, and embryo after getting nutrition becomes a child. Okay, so this is the very basic of reproduction. So now you understand the difference between haploid and diploid. Haploid have single set of chromosomes, diploid two sets of chromosomes in humans in sexually reproducing organisms. You also know that every cell in human body is diploid except sperm in males and eggs in females. You have also understood that sperm and egg fertilize together to form zygote, which is diploid in nature because zygote has chromosomes from both sperms and eggs forming 2n number of chromosomes, and zygote develops into embryo and embryo develops into fetus and fetus develops into baby. All right. So can you tell the answer? Which of the following cell is diploid? Spore, sperm, amoeba or zygote? Obviously, zygote is diploid because it is formed from haploid, two haploid cells. Now you will study that how does the reproducing cell, the embryo, the zygote develops from a single cell. First, this single cell divide to form multiple cell, forming zygote. But how? You know that chromosomes have DNA. What is DNA? DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. And DNA is the source of information for making proteins. Okay, proteins are made and then new cells are produced, and proteins are made up by the information which is stored in DNA. Okay, so how does one cell changes into multiple cells? that starts from DNA. You know, inside cell there are chromosomes, and inside chromosomes there is DNA. The structure of DNA is something like this. Something like this. Double helix structure. Okay. So what happens? First of all, DNA makes two copies from its one DNA, means DNA replicates. It builds two copies of itself. How? That this is DNA, and DNA makes, first of all, DNA division takes place and DNA makes two copies of itself, 1 and 2. After the replication of DNA, replication means making copies of DNA. After replication of DNA, further cellular apparatus जो भी DNA के अलावा होता है, chromosomes, cytoplasm, nucleus, that builds up and two cells are produced. Okay, so you can visualize this is your DNA chain, DNA molecule. It replicates itself into two DNAs. How? It happens with the help of an enzyme. Okay, and that enzyme divides DNA into two parts like this. Okay, and after that these two parts, from these two parts, complete DNA molecules, two DNA chains are produced like this. You can see from one DNA two DNA copies are produced. This is known as DNA replication. When two DNA copies are produced, the further cellular apparatus is produced, making two new cells. Thus, in this way, one reproducing cell makes two cells and then more cells, making a zygote. Okay, and from zygote embryo is produced, and from embryo fetus to child. So once let's go through your NCERT book. You must read this from your NCERT book. You can read that if each new generation is to be combination of DNA copies, then each new generation will end up having twice the amount of DNA. Which means अगर 46 plus 46 combine होंगे तो ज़्यादा DNA, ज़्यादा chromosomes बनेगा. So to solve this problem, one solution that many multicellular organisms have found to have special lineage of cells. This is talking about reproductive cells, which have only half the number of chromosomes and half the amount of DNA. Okay, so that new cell can be produced. These are called germ cells or gamete cells, sperms in males, eggs and females, from two individuals combined during sexual reproduction to form new individual. Okay, it results in re-establishment of number of chromosomes and DNA contact in the new generation. After production of reproducing cell, you can see that a basic event in reproduction is creation of DNA copy. Okay, this creates two copies of DNA in reproducing cell, and they will need to be separated from each other. Okay, so DNA copying is accompanied by So the DNA copying is accompanied by creation of cellular apparatus, and then the DNA copies separate each with its own cellular apparatus. In this way, a cell divides to give rise to two cells, and two cells to four cells, and multiple cells to form zygote to embryo. You have studied about chromosomes, and you should know that humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes and other species might have different number of chromosomes. Okay, angiosperms, flower. What are angiosperms? Do you know what are angiosperms? Angiosperms are flower bearing plants. You have studied in 9th class. So angiosperms may have different number of chromosomes. Monkeys have different number of chromosomes. Okay, birds have different number of chromosomes, but humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes, you know. But all sexually reproducing organisms have diploid set of chromosomes in somatic cells and haploid number of set of chromosomes in reproducing cells. So first we will start the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction occurs in many species. So first we will study angiosperms. Sexual reproduction in angiosperms means flower bearing parts, and you know that the flowers are the reproducing part of a angiosperm. For that, you must know about the structure and parts of flower. You have studied it multiple times. Okay, so you know the stamen. The male part of flower is stamen and female part is stigma. And on stamen, pollen grains are present. Pollen grains are present on stamen. As you know, stamen is divided into two parts, anther and filament. You know it very well. Okay, so pollen grains are present on anther, and this is the female part which is known as carpel. The upper part is stigma, middle part is style, and the lower part is ovary. So transfer of pollen grains takes place from anther to stigma. Okay, so these pollen grains are the sperms or the gametes of flowers. जैसे कि ह्यूमंस में स्पर्म एंड एग होते हैं, वैसे ही फ्लावर्स में मेल पार्ट में स्पर्म को बोलते हैं पोलन ग्रेन और फीमेल पार्ट में गैमेट को बोलते हैं एग. फीमेल पार्ट इज स्टिग्मा एंड मेल पार्ट इज स्टेमन. So transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma is known as pollination. Okay, and pollination is of two types: self pollination and cross pollination. Self pollination occurs in the same flower. Okay, the pollen grains takes place from anther to stigma of the same flower. But if the transfer of pollen grains takes place from one flower to another flower, that is cross pollination, means from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower, that is cross pollination. Okay, what actually happens in pollination, in fertilization? So this is the female part which is known as pistil or carpel, and it is the parts stigma. Okay, so after the pollen grains lands on stigma. Okay, so first of all, pollen grains lands on stigma. Okay, these pollen grains are transferred, moved to the ovaries. Okay, and it happens by a tube cell, a pollen tube through the style into the ovule. Okay, a pollen tube, this is a pollen tube which is created through the style, the middle part of the pistil. Okay, the male gametes travel along with the tube nucleus through the pollen tube. These are the male gametes, pollen grain. Through this tube they move through the style to the ovaries. Okay, in the ovaries ovules are present, small ovules are present. These are ovules, and in ovules one of the male gametes fuses with the female gamete, means egg, leading to fertilization. You can see one pollen grain fuses with the female gamete to form a zygote. Okay, so fertilization leads to the formation of zygote. All right, now this is inside an ovule. Okay, another male gamete fuses with polar nuclei. There are also two polar nuclei inside a ovule. You should know that inside ovaries there are ovules, and inside ovules there is egg and two polar nuclei. The other male gamete, the another pollen grain, fuses with two polar nuclei to form endosperm. In this way, you can understand that how does fertilization takes place in flowers. So polar nuclei make endosperm and egg makes zygote. Okay, so this is endosperm, you can see, and that part is zygote. So zygote divides multiple times to form an embryo within an ovules. You can see this zygote begins dividing and getting bigger in size. So in this way, with embryo and endosperm, we get a whole seed. In this way, a seed is produced. All right. So endosperm provides nourishment to the embryo. Embryo को nourishment endosperm provide करता है. Ovule develops and turns into seed. You can see a seed is produced. All right. So now you have understood how seed is produced in flowers, in flower bearing plants. And it is interesting to note that ovule changes into seed and ovary changes into fruit. So now you can understand that, imagine this is an ovary, and inside ovary there are ovules. So ovule changes into seed and whole of the ovary changes into fruit. That's why there are seeds in the fruit. So in this process you saw that there was two kinds of fertilization, because one of the male gamete or pollen grain fuses with egg, one fertilization, and another pollen grain fuses with polar nuclei. So there is double fertilization. Okay, so the process of fusion of pollen grain with egg is known as fertilization, and the process of fusion of another male gamete with two polar nuclei is known as triple fusion. Okay, because there is one pollen grain and two polar nuclei, so triple fusion, and this entire process is known as double fertilization. So what is double fertilization? The fusion of one pollen grain with egg, one pollen grain with egg to form embryo is known as, so you can say the process of fusion of one pollen grain with egg and another pollen grain with two polar nuclei to form endosperm and zygote is known as double fertilization. You must read this from your NCERT to know the different parts of a flower. Okay, this is the female part, which is known as pistil, and these are the male parts, which are stamen. Pistil have three parts: stigma, style, ovary. All right, and male have two parts: anther and filament. You have already studied about this. You should know that also there are two kinds of flowers: unisexual and bisexual. So unisexual have contain only one, either male part or female part, either male or female, either stamen or carpel. But bisexual flowers contain both male and female part, both stamen and carpels. Okay, you also learn these examples of these flowers. Okay, so you have studied that the pollen needs to be transferred from stamen to stigma. Okay, after the pollen grains on the tubal stigma, it has to reach female germ cells, which are in ovary. A tube grows out of pollen grain through the style to reach ovary. After fertilization, zygote divides several times to form embryo within an ovule. So ovule develops a tough coat and converted into seed, and ovary develops into fruit. So that was the fertilization. So you can also see the structure of seed. You know that seed contains endosperm and embryo. Okay, so there are two kinds of seeds: monocote seeds and dicote seeds. Monocote and dicote seeds. Okay, the figure you are seeing is dicote seeds because it can be divided into two parts, one and one. Okay, identify them from their structure. So monocots have two cotyledons, one cotyledon. Mono means one, right? Monocote means one cotyledon, and dicote means two cotyledons. And cotyledons are the first part that grows out in a plant. The first leaf that comes out of a seed comes from cotyledon. Okay, this is a dicote seed and it has two cotyledons. Okay, and this dicote seeds has endosperm as well as embryo. Okay, and cotyledon is a part of embryo, the first leaves which appear in a plant. So So now you have understood that a seed has cotyledons, seed has endosperm, seed has embryo, and there are also other parts too. You can see that besides cotyledon, endosperm and embryo, there are other two parts which are plumule and radicle. So the shoot, the upper part of the plant, okay, upper part that starts from plumule, okay, this is the ground, and below are roots and above is root shoot. The shoot starts from plumule, this part, and root starts from radicle, this part, okay, you can see from this figure. So after formation of seed, seed grows and makes a new plant. This is germination, and the whole process is known as reproduction in flowering plants. So today we studied the basis of sexual reproduction in sexually reproducing organisms, and we studied in detail the flowering plants reproduction. In next class we will study about the male and female reproductive system in humans. Okay, you can make notes from this class and study very well. Thank you. Thank you.